Hey guys, Susanna here. Better move it over a little bit. I had filmed, but then I accidentally pressed stop, and that was only 5 minutes. So I'll quickly start again. So I'm at to the point where we're doing the leaves and the bonnets. So you get 4 of these. So I've got these, and you've got to sew around them. But I've got the yellow in the machine, so I've just sewn around. You just grab 4 leaves out of fabric rather than felt, and then you sew on the actual line, which is what I've done here, and then turn them inside out, and they'll form like a little flower. Then we roll up a piece of felt, which I will do a bit like the tail, which goes in the middle of them, and on this one, the middle of the tail forms. I'll show you anyway. And here's the strawberry. We cut up that as well. So I'm going to sew up these leaves, and then I'll pause it, and this time I will pause it, not turn it off, and then I'll be back to show you what you need to do with that, and I'll also change the thread on the machine to make it so it's a bit darker. So I will be back. Okay, back again. Sewn around all of those, and I've also sewn around both the hats just up until it says just do the curve bit, because what we need to do is open up one and turn it around, and we are going to do randomly little stitches all the way around there with French knots or a colonial knot, and also it says to sew this down and do the same to that, but I reckon it'll be easier to do French knots while it's open, to be honest, and then sew it. Okay, so out of all that thing, I have not got white, so this is like a variegated white and cream, so I'm going to use that. Yeah, I've ordered all the DMC cotton threads. What did I need? I was thinking my little book to see whether colonial stitch or colonial stitch or French knots are the best. Colonial stitch is nice and quick because it's just a figure of 8. We'll see how we go. So for now, I'll just chop around these. Cut these in the middle. And I'll probably do the small ones because we've already got the tail that we attach it onto. So you just have it as close as you can without touching it. Save those little bits of fabric. I watched Gina on Firefly Studio doing this technique where you keep little pieces of fabric like that, and you just put little bits on, and then you put this special stuff that she bought over it, and you sew it. Like, she made journal covers and all sorts of stuff on there, so you can go and check out her channel. It's a really good idea. Okay, I'm going to cut a little piece that's a bit small along there. Have a little bit of an opening where the line is. I think that one's been sewn. And that. Okay. Now I'll do the same with these. You're just going to have to sit with me and cut. So it is. A little bit more hand stitch, you know, we've got to be really careful in this because they are so close together. a bit too close together for my liking. Okay, that one. I wasn't thinking when I did those. Just go straight in the middle. Oh my goodness. Really close. Okay. There we go. And pieces for there, piece for the bin. Okay. These should be enough. Seem to be a little bit more rounded. Okay. So what we do, we turn these inside out. Okay, got the heater on in here. Ooh. Yeah, see, this must be the one where it's really close, because look at that, it's come undone. A bit too close. Ah, so annoying. See, look at that. Oh well, I'm going to have to go back on the machine and sew that in a little bit. Nothing is lost. And it's not because of the sewing was bad, it's because I was just way too close. Not real great because I got the red thread in there, but oh well. On there and turned inside out, you don't really notice because it's a short thread. Hopefully the other ones are okay. Best to find out this before then later. There we go. Tiny little bit of burgundy thread. Okay. Oh, I've got my drink over here. Oh, a bit thirsty. There we go. Thirsty work, this. Okay. Now, I hope you're all enjoying this. It does take a little while, but it's definitely worth it. It'd be a lovely little project you can make for the grandkiddies. Probably make it a little bit more kid friendly by sewing the ears onto the actual thing rather than on a hat. Or you can give it to older grandchildren. Don't know what it doesn't say anything on there that it's not suitable for children. So, threads. So what we do, I think they gather it. Always fiddly, working with little stuff. But it's all these little things, these little embellishments, which really make it look so cute. I think the last thing we do is sew on the eyes and do the nose, which I do with embroidery thread. And then the last one, I like this colour actually, quite nice. Okay, now it says trace small leaves on your chosen fabric, machine stitch all the way around each leaf, leaving open where indicated along the straight edge. Cut each leaf out in a tiny seam allowance, turning right side in, and press. I'm not going to press because I can't be bothered. I will finger press. Okay. Tuck tiny seam allowance as you gather in around the opening on each leaf by hand. Oh, seriously. Okay. I can be bothered doing that. And pull up the gathers and fasten off. Okay. I suppose. Now thread each leaf together through the gathers so they are lying flat in a row. So you would probably have to have it like that, and then you gather it and it comes in like a little flower, so that they look like flower petals. Fasten off and make sure that there's a small hole in the centre for the leaves. Hand stitch the leaves to the top of the strawberry. Poke the end of the tail inside the hole. Aha! So that's what you do, and I think you do the same thing with this. So if you want, and you're a little bit more or less or more pedantic than I am, go and go and iron it. My iron's in the house at the moment and I'm out in my studio, so the ironing board might be out here. I'm not too worried. This is the only bad part of when you're no recording. Just going to give it a bit of a finger press. And then apparently you tuck this in, so that's why you needed to leave that little bit extra. Oh, it's fiddly. So you would do that to all of them, tuck them in. This is probably where it may pay to press, because they will at least stay down. So you get them all and tuck them in. So I might get my little iron out and do that off camera because it will probably take a while. Okay. Some days you're just not really in the mood to do fiddly little things. Why do they make it so hard? Can't we just gather them on as is, like sew it and then sew and gather? I'll get my iron out. I'll be back. Okay, gave in, ironed. You do need to do it because trying to turn them in, it's a right pain. I had to get the tweezers out, that's how annoying it is. Okay, it says to sew them shut and then do the running stitch, but because I've ironed it, especially the small ones, they are so frustratingly painful. So you really do need to give them a, and you know what, I'm going to, turn that off. And push this down. I'll be back in a tick. So we are back, and then what I'm going to do, because I just hate hand sewing twice, is I'm just going to give them a bit of a tiny bit of glue just to glue them down. This one in particular was a right pain. It was not being compliant at all. I mean, if you're going to make these for children, I wouldn't recommend doing the gluing thing, but yeah, see, Jolly had to get this out. That's how annoying it was. Then just, you know, tiny little bit just to, so they will stay down, because normally you would need to sew them down. Okay, do the same on the big ones. Just a tiny bit. Then you get your green thread. Okay. Where are we? Where's my green thread? Here we are. And we get now, here it is. I'll get the big long one. Thread in the middle, which is never as easy as it looks. Come on. Okay. Now, go along there like that on the inside. Then do tiny little running stitches. Okay. It says to do this first, but I am going to do this and all at the same time. Because why do it separately? That's the right way. So you use the same technique for both these guys. Okay. Careful not to prick yourself. Now, grab the first one again. And pull it really tight. Now, sort of a bit like a yo-yo. And you would do the same with that one. So rather than doing, if you want, you can individually sew it and then sew it together, but why do that when it's just as easy to do it this way? You need to do it, pull it fairly tight, and then once you do that stitch where you're sewing it together, grab a piece of this. Just pull it tight. Sort of a bit tricky, you need a few more hands. There we go. Now do another stitch. You want it to stay together. Okay. Now I would probably leave the green thread on there because I'll sew this onto the so that will go through here like that. Actually, I'll probably do it this way, which is the way we want. The way that's going to be showing up will be that way. Yep. So they will go through like this on the tail. I don't know if you can see that. There'll be a hole, I'll go through that on the tail, and then I'm going to be putting the tail into here and then sewing that up and then sewing that on there. So you basically do that same technique. Hopefully you got that and it was in camera. So you do a running stitch all the way along there until it's gathered together like a yo-yo or a Suffolk puff, if you call it, and they're all sewn together like that. And then this one will be sewn into a little bit of this. I don't know how long, it doesn't really say. So you would roll up, I might even just do the same thing as what I did last time. Roll up a little bit of this. As you learnt from the last time, you do have to sit there and hold it for a little bit. So glue the first bit, and then the second bit you just roll over and then I don't think it needs to be any bigger than that. Next bit you would just roll over by hand, and that's where you do that little slip stitch along there, and that will get tucked in, but I probably only need half of that, but I'll just let that dry. There goes my iron again. Okay, now what we need to do while we're waiting for that to dry is we get hood. Cut out 4 pieces, so placing them into pairs, which I've done there, and sew around the curved edge using 4 strands of white embroidery thread, French knot randomly over one hood on the right side. So that would be the right side. What I might do is make sure that that's straight. There we go. I want to make sure that's the same size too. So that'll be the right side. Have a look. How cute is that? And then they're going to be sewn together, that other piece, and they'll be sewn together. But in the meantime, looks like Little Red Riding Hood. We are going to do some stitching of these guys. Now I'll probably do the same with this. So I'll do a couple of them. What's the time now? 25. By the time I get my thread out, wherever this is, and do a couple of them, I'll be up to the next episode, which will probably be the last one. Okay. I'm going to use 2 threads, I think. Because there's usually 3 lots on the DMC thread. So 6 lots, and one's probably not thick enough. And that way you get 3 out of it. Jeez, it's not being very compliant. There we go. Now we need to get a pin. Here we go. That's a good one. Okay, thread that through. And then randomly I'll do I've got white, but aren't strawberry things not white, they're more reddish. Now I'm going to okay, so that's the inside, so that's the outside, so I'll just randomly do little 1, 2, 3. So that'll do. Hold it down, sort of randomly all over the place. It's a bit like doing stem stitch, a seed stitch. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know, yeah, that'll do. Pull that out, grab that, grab this thread, go grab the thing, 1, 2, 3, put it not next to the same hole, just a little bit further, pull it, push it down, hang on to the thing like that, and always hold it, because that way it won't get a notch in it. I'd like it to have a few in there, so 2, 3. Oh, how did I know that would happen? Pull it back out. I could feel it, that it was going to knot. See, even I have trouble with my things every now and again, but you get my drift. Oh, oh, look, that'll do. Really can't be bothered. Okay, 1, 2, 3 on to the side of it. That's where that knot is, and it's going to prove to be a pain. I'm going to have to get rid of that knot, which is right there. use that bit for a bit later on. Get one little knot in there, and it breaks it. Okay, so have you got the drift of what you need to do? Gather this up like so on the actual line, press them, and you're meant to sew them, but I think what I've done is pretty good. Just put a bit of glue on them, and then you gather them up. Rather than gathering individually, you gather them up like that. So on these, then turn one inside out and then do all your dots all the way around, and I'll continue to do the dots all the way around this, and then sew this up, and then I will be back for the next. You sew this up like you did the tail, so you just fold that over, and then I'll stitch that up in this one, and then that's going to be the center of that. That's going to go on top of the hat. So we'll do all of that, and then for the next one, all the little knots and everything will be done, and I'll show you how to put the hat together and everything else on, and then it'll be, if I have that all ready to go, and I can show you how to do the stitching on the face and the eyes. And I think the next one will probably be the last one. Okay, I hope that was clear enough for you guys. I know it's a little bit frustrating, but I can quickly show you again up close. Okay, where are we? There we go. Most of you have seen a French knot. One, grab that, there's it. 1, 2, 3. Go in, not next to it, but near the side of it. Hold the needle down. Push it, hold it with your thumb. And then there you go. This one was a bit stuffed because it had the knot in it, so it makes a difference when you don't have a knot. And so I'll randomly do that. And then when you finish that, you sew up there, and then you do a running stitch. Like, yeah, that'll be sewn, and then you do a running stitch all the way around, and you gather it, but then you stuff it like you would. Turn it inside, sew it, turn it the right way around, do a running stitch, and then you stuff it, because it needs a little bit of stuffing in the cushion. But okay, no worries. Well, I'll be back in the next one, and yeah, hopefully that might be the next one will be the last one, and we'll be done. I've really, apart from tucking those inside out, I think that I didn't enjoy that bit, but everything else I've enjoyed. Because it's fabric. Okay. See you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.